What's up, guys? I'm Joe. Today I'm talking about the new Anti-Flag album, American Fall. So Anti-Flag is back. This is their 12th studio album, American Fall, coming off the heels of 2015 release, American Spring. That album offered more of a polished sort of sound, one they've been sort of making their way towards. Starting off in the later 90s with Die for the Government. They had a very punk rock feel to them, obviously influenced by bands such as The Clash and Sex Pistols, but also offered some elements of hardcore punk. They would like to speed things up quite a bit in those earlier records, and throughout their career have kind of lightened up a bit, kind of become a bit more commercial, a bit more accessible. I hadn't really kept up with them that much, but I was definitely interested to hear this album because I actually saw them on the day Donald Trump took office. I hadn't really thought about those two worlds colliding. They were actually opening up for Real Big Fish. It wasn't their show they were opening. They were doing a Die for the Government anniversary type tour. Trump took office that day, and they were just in rare form. They were just off the walls, freaking out. This is the end of the world type stuff. And I'm certainly not a Trump fan, but the set got very bogged down with they would play a song, talk for like 5 minutes, play a song, talk for like 5 minutes. And what started off as a crowd that was obviously anti-Trump and very supportive of what they were saying, everyone just kind of got to the point where they're like, all right, just play. So I fully expected this record to be super anti-Trump and, very on the nose about it. And what I like about this album is that it is and it isn't. Obviously these songs are reactions to what's going on in the world today, what's going on with politics, what's going on with the Trump administration, and even some leftover on here from the Obama administration. But it's not so explicit, it's not so on the nose. The band had stated recently in interviews they didn't really want to date the album by addressing a specific president, that being Trump. And I think it's smart to be cognizant of that, and it's smart to think about that before you dive in. Obviously based on their reactions the day he was inaugurated, they would have loved to just tear Trump apart on this album, but by keeping it more general, where it's talking about these issues, but where it could become relevant again in the future, it's definitely a good idea. Think about it in terms of Green Day's American Idiot. At the time the album was released, these songs were reactions to the Bush administration. But by not making it so specific and so obvious that it's about Bush, that album gained a whole lot more relevance once Trump came into office this year. You saw Green Day performing American Idiot at award shows when they had a new album out already. That allowed for it to become relevant again in a different time period than when it was written. It was smart for Anti-Flag not to try to date the album. There are some references that are a little more apparent when the wall falls, and the Criminals, talking about quite a lot of problems going on with politicians in this country. But like I said, even some leftovers from maybe the Obama administration as far as Digital Blackout goes, which is a pretty interesting song about drone warfare and the effects on soldiers that take part in that. The song Racist is definitely one that I could see annoying a lot of people. The point of the song is there's a lot more subtle racism going on with a lot of people, and I think that applies to the Trump era. People want to say they're not racist, but they also want to say we should build a wall or we should have a travel ban or things like that. But I won't get too bogged down into politics here. Musically, it makes for a really great album, actually. The sound the band has developed at this point is a nice mix of, sort of what they've done throughout their career, different types of punk rock, and then also, a bit of a modern rock edge. Some of these songs, like the opening, American Attraction, remind me a lot of the sound that Rise Against has nowadays. There's a punk sound to it, but there's also that kind of rock edge. You're definitely getting that here with the type of riffage going on, and they just hit you with this incredibly catchy chorus. That sort of catchiness really carries on throughout. Definitely in a song, Finish What We Started. This has a lot of Clash influences on here. The verses sound very much like a Clash song, with the sort of acoustic sounding guitars, but the wandering bass lines. Then ultimately you have this big gang vocal style chorus that offers something really catchy and earwormy. When the Wall Falls is a cool one. It has a ska type twist to it as far as the verses go. That was a little unexpected, but definitely enjoyable as a fan of ska music. Maybe some influence there from touring with Real Big Fish. Liar is a standout for me. Just has a nice punk energy to it, one of the more upbeat songs on here, if not the most upbeat. And the bass guitar is just ripping through this track, a lot of great, energetic, fast riffage going on there. I like that the bass sort of gets to take the lead on this song. Digital Blackout offers that more modern rock type edge to it. I personally love the way the verses pan out with just the drums going on with the vocals over them and how the vocals kind of build in intensity to the gang vocals before going back into that big, heavy, rock bass riff for the chorus. Some weaker moments, Trouble Follows Me. with that, I think like Summer of '69 type chord progression, only faster and so repetitive, ultimately leading into a chorus that doesn't really do much. So trouble. Album doesn't really end on the best note either. Between Throw It Away and Casualty, sort of lighter and kind of just weaker songs on here, and just a little more straightforward. Not much to them. I Came, I Saw, Believed, I'm kind of like half and half on, because I don't like the kind of almost country square dance sounding guitar riffs as far as the verses go. But then the chorus itself is so epic and like stadium rock ready that it makes it worth it to listen to, because I really do enjoy the chorus. But those weird verse guitar riffs going on are kind of strange. But yeah, overall, pretty enjoyable album. I am liking this one. Offering a lot of punk influences and punk energy, but also here and there you get a little ska, you get a little modern rock, and ultimately an album that focuses a lot on melody and catchy hooks. The gang vocals go a long way for me on this album. They just, bring a lot of energy and a lot of excitement and a lot of, hooks to the songs. So I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5. Let me know what you think of the album in the comments. You can check out plenty of my other reviews on here, and as always, don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time.